I'm getting a question for you from one of our YouTube viewers, Robert Neal, who asks, ask Larry if he will run again, maybe for mayor of LA. How about mayor of LA?
Well, there's a very interesting mayoral race going on right now between Karen Bass, a longtime Democrat, and Rick Caruso, who was a longtime Republican. Then all of a sudden, before he registered to run for mayor, he switched over to Democrat. He is a multi-billionaire who's outspent his opponent 10-1. He spent $100 million of his own money, and it narrowed the gap, but he's still down by about 4 or 5 points. Last I checked. As far as myself is concerned, I am thinking about running for something else, but it's not going to be California. It's going to be something a little bit bigger. I'm been spending a lot of time in Iowa, Megyn, and in New Hampshire. And you know why those two states are important. I haven't made a decision yet, but sometime next year I will. And I'm giving it strong consideration, not because I want to displace Donald Trump or Ron DeSantis. I think they're both great people. And I love Donald Trump, ran with him, rather campaigned with him, supported him, and certainly will enthusiastically support him in the event that he becomes a nominee. And I suspect he will. I want to talk about some of the other things you and I have been talking about, which is the demise of the nuclear intact family and this BS about systemic racism. And I think I can talk about those things in a compelling way that maybe some of the other Republican candidates cannot.
Wait, so our audience member, Robert Neal, has broken a little news with you here, Larry. It's not just LA mayor, which might be on the table. It's a presidential challenge, even in the GOP primary. Even if Donald Trump runs, would you actually challenge him?
Even if Donald Trump runs. When I ran for governor here, I didn't say one negative thing about any of my Republican rivals. Unfortunately, they did not return the favor. But no, I'm not going to say anything negative about these guys. I'm going to talk about all the issues we talked about tonight, the inflation, the gas prices, this war against oil and gas, the porous borders, but also the fact that the welfare state has incentivized women to marry the government and incentivized men to abandon their financial and moral responsibility. And now 40% of kids born today in America enter the world without a father married to the mother. 70% of Black kids do. Half of Hispanic kids do. 25% of white kids do. It is a national scandal that neither party, in my opinion, is spending very much time talking about. And the other thing is about systemic racism. It is a lie. It's pitting each other against each other. It's causing cops to pull back. It's called the Ferguson effect or the George Floyd effect. And the people that are killed most because of the excess deaths are Black and brown people living in the inner city. And we need to talk a lot more about that. My father never knew his biological father, so it's not a death sentence. He grew up dirt poor, 8th grade education, clean toilets, 2 full-time jobs doing that. Megyn, fast forward, he started a little cafe. My dad retires in his early 80s. And when he retired, his net worth was close to a little bit under $1 million. And my father was a patriot, a Republican, a Christian, and he believed in hard work. And he would not let my brothers and me whine about anything at all, given the comparison between our circumstance and the circumstance he grew up in Athens, Georgia during the Jim Crow South. So the fact that you have young people running around talking about systemic racism, to me, is an abomination. And we ought to be talking more about that and tell them to knock it off, invest in yourself, work hard, get an education, don't have a kid before you're 20 years old, get married first, get a job, keep a job, don't quit the job, avoid the criminal justice system. You will not be poor.